Welcome to Franchise Marketing Radio, brought to you by SEO SAMBA. Comprehensive high-performing marketing solutions for mature and emerging franchise brands. To supercharge your franchise marketing, go to SEOSAMBA.com. That's SEOSAMBA.com.
Welcome to Franchise Marketing Radio. Stone Payton Lee Cantor here with you this morning. Today's episode is brought to you in part by the Business RadioX Studio Partner Program, equipping franchisors to help franchisees dominate their local market. To learn more about serving your market and growing your business, go to mybrxstudio.com. Lee, this is going to be a fantastic segment. Please join me in welcoming to the broadcast President of Gotcha Covered Franchising, LLC, Mr. Paul Linenberg. How are you, Paul?
Oh, gosh, I'm fantastic. Pleasure to be with you guys today in this crazy and very challenging environment. Once in a lifetime, I'm sure.
Hopefully that is true, Paul. Well, tell us about Gotcha Covered. How are you serving folks?
Well, sure. So our franchise owners sell custom window treatments, blinds, shutters, and shades to homeowners and businesses in their area. And most of our folks are home-based, although we do have some that do have retail storefronts. So this has really changed how we do things substantially, at least in the short term, by kind of compelling us to move to what we're calling, and many others are calling, virtual consultations. So we have now educated our franchise owners on how to do that, the technology to use, the process, the third-party technology that they can leverage, all those kinds of tools to help us be productive in this environment, because the reality is that people are still doing business. They want to do things maybe even more so now, because now they have a little bit more time on their hands. They're sitting at home staring at the ugly window treatments and saying, those got to go. Who can help me out? Even today, we've had people that have had their vacations canceled, and so now suddenly they have a pool of funds that they reallocate toward home improvement projects such as window treatment. So we're really trying to do what we can to help our franchise owners and serve our community in these times of lockdown.
Now, previously, prior to the situation that we're dealing with now, the way that it would work was somebody said, hey, I'm interested in window treatments. And then one of your people would come and physically go to their house, I guess, and show them a book or some samples and materials and say, hey, these are your choices. And now you're saying that because of the circumstance and the social distancing, that's happening kind of virtually at this point?
That's right. That's exactly how our regular model works. And so now we are just going virtual. So with Zoom or FaceTime or whatever the homeowner is comfortable with, we can leverage whatever technology they like and just have that virtual appointment. We still have the sample books. We can still hold them up on the video camera and say, hey, here's what we're talking about here. We can help the homeowner give us rough measurements so we can actually come up with a quote. We would want to do final measurements to make sure that we're exact to the eighth of an inch so that the window treatment's set properly. But the limitation, the only thing that really is a downside now is that they can't touch and feel the samples and see the fabrics. So what we've done there is we've arranged, and this has been in place, but we can actually order swatches and product samples to be sent directly to the homeowner. Even in this environment, our manufacturers are for the most part up and running or have inventory. They're trying to be still in business as much as they can possibly be. So it's a different way of doing it, but the results are very similar to what they would be in a normal environment.
And this might open up some opportunities for future, right? Like this is the new normal today, but it also might transfer to down the road that this is another kind of channel for you guys to explore and how to deal with customers.
Yeah, for sure. We do see this as a silver lining in the application for this. I think that still most people would want to have that touch feel and look into the eyes of the person that's going to provide them service and products. But there's going to be situations that maybe you're across town and there's a lot of traffic, or the child falls ill that day. And so you know, instead of canceling that appointment, hey, let's just switch to a virtual consultation, we can make progress. So I do believe that will become a permanent part of how we do business and how so many other companies do business as well.
Right. It may not be your plan A, but it might be a good plan B.
Yeah, exactly. And we do have our franchise owners, because of the way we have our territories, you can sell anywhere that you're referred. You're not limited to just your territory. So you may have a friend across the state, across the country. Well, now that we have some expertise, we have some track record in this. Now I think our franchise owners their eyes are going to be open about, hey, I can sell window treatments to my folks who are back, in Michigan or whatever, and it can really turn out very well. So yeah, another sort of opportunity has exposed itself in all this turmoil.
Right. This is, this is what I think is great about our country is that we're very resourceful. There's a lot of entrepreneurs out there and creative people that are good at problem solving. And, they see themselves in this situation. They're not saying, okay, I quit, I'm out. They're saying, what do I have to do to make this work? And you're seeing a lot of that.
Yeah, this couldn't have happened to a better country. We do have the creativity and the drive and the energy to make this work. We're going to get through this pretty quickly and be on the other side of it. And there's going to be a lot of permanent improvements on a lot of things in the way we did business and the way we acted as consumers. So I couldn't agree with you more.
Now, we've been having the privilege to speak to a lot of other business people and a lot of franchisors out there. Are you seeing, because there is a lot of people losing their jobs or being furloughed, are you finding that an unintended consequence for you is that a lot of franchisees or potential franchisees are popping up now and saying, hey, you know what? I'm tired of this kind of roller coaster. Let me get in control of my own situation. Let me explore. Got you covered.
Yeah, we're just starting to see that. And I think that we will see that more and more over time. We have seen people drop out of the due diligence period because they have lost their job or their spouse has, or they're just concerned. But I'm very happy to report, as you just suggested, that people are coming in and they're saying, hey, this is an amazing opportunity to get into business ownership. I've just learned the hard way that my job really isn't that secure. And, this is unprecedented, and hopefully, again, we never see this again, but things can happen beyond the control. So any employee that's out there that feels like they're safe and secure, and we've seen this over the years and years, that, all of a sudden somebody changes up at the top, and guess what? A whole division is gone. So yeah, this will be a good opportunity for people to jump into business ownership. And really, I believe that on the other end of this, assuming that the government really gets the money flowing pretty quickly, I see this as more of a bump in a road than a deep pothole that we're going to really have to dig ourselves out of.
Yeah, I agree. What does the ideal franchisee look like? What's a good fit for your system?
Yeah, gosh, we say that anybody's a good candidate. You don't have to have any particular expertise. I think the two sort of stereotypes is that you need to be a designer or you need to be handy with a hammer, and neither one of those are true. So we literally have people that have been homemakers. We have teachers, Wall Street people, mid-level executives. Really comes down to work ethic, and this is a very highly referral kind of a business. So the more someone is good at and likes building relationships, both with marketing partners and customers, it's just going to be an easier fit for them. But as long as you bring a work ethic, ability to get along with others, and the drive, and the sometimes things that are hard to define, all those things, we can train you, we can teach you how to be successful with, and got you covered. We're equally split. We're about half male, about half female. About 40% of our owners are spouses, so partners, husbands and wives, who have, the typical profile is that one of them has the kids are gone, or for whatever reason life changes, and now they say that they're ready to start the new business. So the one spouse is working, the other spouse comes and joins the business. And then after they're up and running for a little bit, then the spouse that was working is usually really, really excited to leave their job and to join their spouse working in the business, then it becomes typically a husband and wife scenario that works really, really well. It's a great income business, but it's a great lifestyle business as well.
Right, because I would imagine there's a lot of flexibility with this franchise.
Very much, yeah. And it's funny that we see when it is spouses working together, what we see is there's two varieties. One is that the spouses want to do every single thing together, and then the other one is they don't want to do anything together. They completely want to divide and conquer because they find that working too closely together is more stressful. So it's just funny as the franchisor to be able to see the variety of how spouses really like working together.
Right. You get to see the family dynamics in action.
That's right, yeah. Good and bad.
Now, talk about the kind of the genesis of the idea. Did it start out with the founders as saying, you know what, this is something we're going to franchise, or did it start out as something like, hey, this is an interesting business, let me just see what I can do individually, and then it grew into franchising?
Yeah, so I was not a founder, but our founder, Vic Yosha, was actually in software. And he and some people that he knew got involved in developing a very rudimentary, at the time, this is decades ago, window treatment design software program. And they built it up and they, tried to sell it to the trade. And eventually it dawned on them that, hey, we have something pretty cool here. We can franchise around this, make this our point of separation. So we've really always had technology in our DNA, and you can see from our annual investment, but also in the platform that we've developed to help our franchise owners. We started out calling it a CRM, but now it's so much more. We just renamed it. We now call it Gotcha Linked, but it's a CRM. It's lead management. It's quoting. It's proposing. It's integration with QuickBooks. We're pulling leads into it. All kinds of stuff. And one of the things we just did in response to this current situation in the virtual consultations is we plugged in a sales design tool that we had also built alongside, and now our franchise owners can send this virtual sales tool to their homeowners virtually, so that homeowner can get a link and they can go online. They can look at hundreds of great-looking photos of window treatments. They can sort by design, style, and product and room, and they can save their favorites, and then those favorites go back to the franchise owner so they understand and can see what that homeowner is interested in, so that when they have that appointment, they have a really good place to start. They can say, hey, I can tell that you like shutters, for example, so let's start there. So we've really tried to, it's been all hands on deck. We've shifted away from our normal priorities, trying to balance, hey, let's try to do business as usual as much as we can, but where we should and where we have to, let's pivot and let's break away from our development path, our technology development path, and let's focus on those things that we can adopt and get out into our franchise owners very quickly and inexpensively, so that actually has an impact in their businesses right now. And so that's kind of been the focus for the last several weeks.
So now, how are you kind of helping the franchisee deal with the stress of this? For a lot of these franchisees, they haven't been business owners during this crisis. They've been maybe employees in another organization, but they haven't been kind of the one that's responsible. How do you kind of counsel, or are you doing kind of regular check-ins, or they're more kind of office hoursy like calls where people can kind of share what's going on in their market and share some best practices, but just to help them kind of mentally stay strong? How are you helping from a leadership? Yeah.
Well, we have the, I don't know if it's an advantage of having been through the Great Recession of 2008, and that was a dreadful time, and it was a time of diminishment in all our business and so many others. So we've seen this before, and we've communicated that to our franchise owners, and it's been just a constant stream of communication to let them know that we understand what this is. We've seen it before. Here's what we're doing. Here's some positive things. We want to balance between being empathetic and positive. We don't want to overact. We don't want to underact. So shifting our resources into not just the technology, but the marketing, getting more Facebook resources in their hands very quickly, more product information. We're doing, for example, a webinar next week about how to take great pictures with your cell phone. And we have put aside a pool of funds that is going to, we call it a stimulus package for lack of a better term. And that is a pool we've set aside to help our owners who are struggling, those that have already been struggling more than others, those that are just new in the business, those that haven't really been able to build up the reserves and a strong business yet. And we're sort of allowing them to apply for funds from this pool that will defer their royalties down the road so that we can all get through this. We can have some relief on the cash flow. We've also been just really encouraging them to take advantage of the government financial assistance, because I think that is the way through all of this. Is, you can only preserve expenses so much. You have to generate revenue, and those government programs are the way to generate revenue to get us through this.
Yeah, I think that's going to be some relief that all small and mid-sized businesses desperately need at this time.
Absolutely.
I agree with you that we're going to get through this, and this will be, when we look back, we're going to realize that it's probably not going to be as bad as everybody initially thought it was, and it is going to be a bump in the road, not, the Grand Canyon there.
Yeah, 100%.
So now, how are you? So from a growth standpoint, I'm sure everybody's numbers are kind of not where they'd like them to be. But it sounds like that you're kind of net positive in the sense that maybe some people that were considering this have put that on pause just based on their own individual financial situation. But you are getting new people that maybe hadn't considered or weren't really ready to pull the trigger or getting closer to pulling the trigger because of their new circumstances.
Yeah, and I think we're a few weeks out from really seeing how that balances. But one of the things I'm really very pleased about is that people that were in the process, deep into it, they've stayed with a commitment. I just had an onboarding call with one of our new owners who's coming to a training in May, which is now virtual. We would, of course, have that in person. Now it's virtual. And she just said, hey, I really believe this is a great time to get into business because I know that this is going to be temporary, and my opportunities on the other side are going to be tremendous. And it just raised the hairs on my arms. It was just so gratifying to hear that kind of approach and philosophy to this business. So I think the more people that adopt that, and of course we're honored to have her as part of Gotcha Covered because we love business owners like that. But I do think that a little bit less employment overall helps franchising in general because there's more people that are not wanting to go back to corporate, which we've been competing against for a couple years, thanks to a very, very strong economy. So, yeah, we'll see. Our goal is to grow responsibly. We want to add very high caliber people to our system that are going to appreciate what we do and our culture and be successful. And we'll do that with the right people. And however many that is, that's what it is. But I do think, as you guys said, and I again agree with you 100%. This is a bump in the road. We're going to get through this. And, good times on the other side of this.
So now, as part of the sales and marketing resources you provide for the franchisees, how much of it is them kind of having to network and work their local community and be kind of a good corporate citizen locally in order to keep that brand ubiquity so when people do consider this, they consider them? How much is their responsibility? How much do you provide? And is that changed now during this crisis?
Yeah, it's a savvy question and speaks to really the heart of Gotcha Covered and many others because our fundamental marketing strategy is community-based marketing. So our approach with anything is to give them the tools to do what they can do, and then we automate, we provide all the resources that we can do. So we're pushing out content from the corporate side, both with Facebook and Instagram, but also LinkedIn now and Google My Business, and that's all good, and it's corporate stuff, but it's not that last mile. It's not that final touch that owner has to be. I mean, we feel like we're co-branded here. The franchise owner is the face of Gotcha Covered in their marketplace, and we're happy with that because that's how it works. This is a referral business. So what we do is we provide them training. We show them, hey, you have to do this, but here's how to do that, and here are the tools and resources. We lay them out for your posting. Go here, grab this. Go here, grab a picture, and bam, you have that's your posting. So it is really a very integrated approach that has to come from both corporate and the franchise owners. And of course, they can't be out in the community. We would be saying shoe leather marketing right now, but there's no shoe leather going on right now. So we're just encouraging them to do that digitally and be more active on social media, because the homeowners are sitting around like they're spending a whole lot more time on social media. So it's a good time to get in front of many more homeowners.
Now, if somebody wanted to learn more and have a more substantive conversation, is there a website for potential franchisees and or consumers that just say it's time to get some new window treatment?
Absolutely. And thanks for asking. Yeah, sure. If you're interested in window treatments, it's gotchacovered.com. If you're interested in possibly a franchise or learning more about it, at least, it's gotchacoveredfranchising.com. Again, gotchacovered.com and gotchacoveredfranchising.com. And just go there, learn all you can, and hit the submit button, and we'll get back to you and start some dialogue and get some information in front of you.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for sharing your story, and best of luck in the future.
Hey, thanks, Stone. Thanks, Lee. Appreciate you guys. Take care.
All right, this is Lee Cantor for Stone Payton. We will see you all next time on Franchise Marketing Radio.